When I'm asleep, I always have lots of funny and weird dreams, but I never told anyone about them before. One day, it was about 2 months ago, and they started visiting me. They came in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. There were 2 mans and 2 ladies, and they all looked very nice, and they stood around me while I was asleep in bed, and they shook the bed until I woke up from my dreams, and they said, "Tell us your dreams." I called them the Dream People. The first night they did it, I didn't know what to say, and they said, "It's okay, we'll come back tomorrow night and you can tell us your dreams." So they came back the next night, and they woke me up again, and one of them stroked my head, and then she said, "Tell us your dreams." So I told them my dream, which I just had when I was asleep, about a man singing karaoke in the clouds. It was like how my daddy sings karaoke, but it wasn't my daddy, it was someone else in the clouds. And then when I told them, they said, "Good boy," and they stroked me on the head, and then they left. I didn't tell my mummy or my daddy at first, because the next day we were going to the ice skating rink early in the morning. The next day, after my mummy had read me a story and after I'd gone to sleep, they came again and they woke me up again. And it was the same people, and they stroked my hair and they said, "Tell us your dreams." So I told them my dream. It was about my baby brother Miles, and my mummy and my daddy were going away for a bit, and they said to look after him, and I did look after him for a while, but then I wanted to play video games, so I put him in the freezer. I forgot that I put him in the freezer. It was only 2 weeks later that I remembered he was in the freezer because I'd been playing video games, and then but I couldn't even get into the room with the freezer because it was full of pigs. When I told that dream to the people around the bed, they stroked my hair and they said, "Good boy," and then they left. They came back every night for a long time. And I didn't tell my mummy because I had lots of other things the next day and I forgot. And then the next night they came again, and I told them the dream I just had. I was in the car, but Mummy wasn't there and Daddy wasn't there, and the car was rolling backwards and there was nothing I could do. And one of the ladies said, "We've heard that one a lot. We need something better." I said, "Oh yeah, there's another dream I had," and I told them that dream. I was in the room and there was a wasp and I was chasing the wasp, and then when I hit the wasp, I saw that it had Peter from school's head. I don't like Peter, he's a bully. I chased the wasp for a long time, and then I hit it against the wall, and then it fell to the floor, and its head fell off, and then lots of Peter's head came out. And she said, "That's a good dream, thank you very much," and then they left again. I didn't tell my mummy or daddy about that one because we were going to the zoo next day to see apes. The Dream People came back every night for a long time. One day my mummy had some friends around to the house and they were all talking about a show on the telly. In this show there was a bit where they were chasing a wasp around the room, and then they squished it and it had lots of human heads. And they were talking about it like it was really cool. I said, "That was what you were talking about was my dream." And she said, "You shouldn't have been listening because that's for adults, and also that's not your dream, it's a TV show." And then she got annoyed with me. And then a few weeks later I was in town with my mummy and my daddy, and we passed a shop, and in the shop there was a TV that was showing a TV program, and in the program there was a man who was in the clouds singing karaoke like my daddy, but it wasn't my daddy. I said, "That's my dream on the TV," and she said, "Don't be silly," and she wouldn't listen to me. They came to see me many more times, and I told them my dreams, and then I was seeing lots of my dreams on TV and in movies and things. One night they came to see me again, and the lady said, "Tell me your dreams." And I said, "I'm not telling you my dreams because every time I tell you my dreams, I then see them on TVs and movies and things." And then the woman who had been really nice to me said, "If you don't tell us your dreams, bad things will happen." And I couldn't sleep So the next day I did something. It was Saturday morning, so I packed my lunchbox and I got lots of my clothes. I kept running and running and running, and I got really far. I ran along a lot of motorways and through woods and forests and things, and I saw cows and sheep, and it was a nice day. I found this barn and I hid in the barn, and then this very nice farmer found me and he said, "Where have you come from?" And I said, "I'm running away from the dream people." One day I found a house with a shed in the back garden, and there was no one in the shed, so I stayed in the shed. I went into the house when there was no one there, and I got food from the house. Inside the house there lived a man and a woman, and sometimes I watched them through the window, and they watched a lot of TV. And then one day they came to the shed and I hid, but they found me. I told them I was running away from the dream people, and we had a long talk, and they said, "It's okay, we can look after you." They were very nice, and they let me play video games, and they took me to the zoo. And we were all very happy. And then one day I saw my new mummy talking to the dream people at the door, and they were showing her a picture of me, and she was nodding a lot. And one of the men was holding a suitcase with lots of money in it. My new mummy said, "Don't worry about them, they've gone away, and everything's okay," and she gave me a cuddle, which was good because my old mummy and my old daddy didn't believe me. I love my new mummy and daddy. We are very happy. Every morning when I wake up, my new mummy asks me to tell her about my dreams, and I tell her about my dreams, but it's much better than before because they don't wake me up in the middle of the night. So that was the dream that I just had. Can you go now?